Hey there, I'm Sarah Subiata Bennett, and welcome to Let's Talk Local. I'm so glad you're here because today's episode is a fun one. I'm sitting down with Len Critcher, an absolute visionary who's been ahead of the game in so many industries. He was one of the first to take car buying online, and now he's got his hands in everything from robotics to ranching and, he happens to own 3 of Dallas's most iconic bars, Chelsea's Corner, where I am today, Inwood Tavern, one of my favorite bars ever in the world, and the newly renovated Milo Butterfingers, where we conducted this interview. We chatted about his incredible journey, and trust me, you don't want to miss this conversation. And stick around for what we record today at Chelsea's Corner with some great food, drinks, and fun with my really good friends, Luceli and Priscilla. Let's dive in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for being here. Okay, so here's why I'm a little nervous. I have not been in here since its renovation, and it always had this really divey sex appeal that I love, and I just don't want that to be gone.
We enlarged the kitchen, but it's the same exact location.
Got it.
We put 3 bathrooms up front. The patio's brand new. You'll have to look at that in a little bit.
I can't wait.
This floor used to lean.
I remember.
Like you thought you'd already been drinking all day when you got in here. And so we had to get underneath, shore everything up, all new beams, all new AC units. There's not a single piece of electrical.
This is all the same.
Plumbing, that's
Isn't
all
it?
new.
Yeah.
Everything's
This is new?
All new.
Oh my gosh.
And we did this renovation down to the studs in 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
Are you serious?
I had 9 crews working round the clock so we could get this thing done. But we had to shore this up, the ground. This is all cedar. So this is I don't know if you've ever seen this. This was the original building when it was brought here.
Oh, I had not.
That was probably brought, I don't know, the 40s.
Oh my gosh.
Or they were stables.
It's like yes.
Yeah. And so that door you're seeing is the patio door.
Here.
Correct.
Ah.
You can see that we added another, I say we, where that little X is, there was another door. That's the entry door now.
Oh, I see.
And then so.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
And then the famous movie Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise was filmed right here. He's in his wheelchair yelling at everybody right here. This was no man's land back here. It was a junk pile of tables.
I don't remember anything back here, honestly.
It was like an old wood box with a TV on it and dartboards.
Okay.
So we've created this is another event space now.
I love it.
Yeah.
God, I am
we
so
even
happy.
went to lengths. These lights, we had to source them from the 80s. So those are vintage. Now, if one goes out, they all go out. It's a big problem.
No,
it's a big problem.
Not those.
But we did it because we wanted a vintage glow.
Yeah.
Not LED.
Yep.
So these are not LED.
Yep.
Now I don't know if we're gonna be able to sustain this because
sure.
it's been 4 months of hell.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to figure it out. And that's one of the themes of what we do. We don't believe this is our bar.
Yeah.
We're simply a steward at the moment.
Yeah.
And this bar should live on.
Yep.
Hopefully. And so we do everything we can to make sure these buildings don't get torn down.
That's right.
The building should have been torn down. After what we found out, you should probably get a shot if you ever drink here before, like penicillin or something. It was filthy. But it's now, it's now, and I have to correct people all the time. Dive bar does not mean dirty.
No.
It means neighborhood.
God,
it
exactly.
means local patrons.
Yes,
it means a little dim lit.
Yes.
But dirt has nowhere in my my vocabulary for a bar or anything that I own.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, we even have a glycol beer system that charges our beer to 30 degrees in the lines.
Okay.
We are very sophisticated in our ovens. Even our grease empties itself from the grease fryers and stuff, and it's washed every day.
Okay.
So we're dive. But we're advanced and we're clean.
Sure.
And so that's the goal.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so eager to sit with you.
Len,
Yes.
I am so eager to just chat with you. You own some of the most incredible, historic, I believe, establishments where so many beautiful memories have been created in our city.
Right.
And I'm just, like I said, very eager to explore all that makes you you. You are such a dynamic person. You're quite an incredible leader. And I know I sent you some questions, but I'm interested to explore how you've come to be you.
Well, that's I have no idea. But
Well, I'm going to ask the questions.
we'll try to figure it out together.
Write it out.
But thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So you're originally from Dallas, right?
I try to claim it.
Okay.
I got here as fast as my parents allowed. I was actually 12 when I moved to the Park Cities from Shreveport, Louisiana. So not far.
Louisiana.
Not far. And it was a shock. Very different culture moving from a very public Shreveport school system to Highland Park.
Yeah.
And then I even spent a brief moment living in LA as a junior on my own. So it's strange. We don't need to get into all that, but a very, so I see Park Cities for what it is.
Yeah.
And have a lot of love for it. Still live there today.
Yeah.
But I felt like I saw a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
That brought me, maybe it's my perspective changed a little bit.
No.
To see different things. Yeah.
Definitely. But that kind of, that helps me understand you better. I mean, so many people from Louisiana, they're just good people.
I'd like to think so.
Yes. I mean, food, dear God. I mean, it's, some of the best.
I do make the joke, though, that the real Louisiana, they don't claim Shreveport. They call us East Texas.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think that if you go to New Orleans and you say you're from Shreveport, they're going to go, I think you're more East Texas. But you're correct. My parents met in Shreveport at Centenary College, and I had a great experience. I don't get back there very often, but it absolutely shaped a lot of who I was.
Definitely,
it was a great town.
Yeah,
great place.
I'm assuming were your parents originally from there?
So my father was from Houston.
Ah, like Monty, my husband.
Yeah, from Houston, Texas, and my mother was from Magnolia, Arkansas. So a very small town.
Yes.
They met at Centenary, which is kind of. They met at Centenary.
Okay, that's perfect. And so I've done some research on your family. And is your father an author?
He is.
Okay.
He is. He's published his third book now.
Yeah,
And
they're
he's
nonfiction.
Nonfiction. Well, he's even written a major tax book called about it's called Covering Your Assets. Go figure. So he's also a technical writer.
Yeah.
He's a very smart man.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so what kind of influence did your parents have on you and what made you you? Because you clearly have an entrepreneurial spirit.
It's a great question. If I start back, I was blessed with a grandmother in Magnolia, Arkansas. Believe it or not, had her own radio show going back to the 50s. She was, and it was a very famous radio show.
Okay.
My mother, and I give her a lot of credit, was in pageants, to theater, to taught in college, speech. And it was probably her that saw us doing well in Shreveport. But I'll never forget the day she came to us and said, I think there's an opportunity for us to move to Dallas with my father in a career. And it would be an amazing thing. Would you, instead of being a big fish in a small pond, let's go make the pond a little bigger.
Yeah.
And let's find out what we can, do with that. And I do credit her adventurous spirit. But since the age of, there's a funny story she would say, I was probably 10 years old. And a lady called my mother and said, why is your son at the local, it was a deli, trying to get a job? and I didn't need a job. But I needed a job. I needed a job.
I get it.
And so even my father to this day says, who are you? What did we do to make you run away and try to work all the time?
Sure.
But I think it's in you.
It is.
But I do think a lot about, my father's very creative too. And I see business as a creative outlet. Being successful and making money, those are all nice things that allow you to keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
But every venture, and I've had a lot of them, just a lot of interesting things, have all been about creativity and expressing that creativity and leadership and camaraderie and being part of community. I think that's really important too.
So it's interesting because I'm big into energy. I'm also quite linear, right-brained in my thinking, but very creative as well. And so tell me, do you think it's because you also inherited that creativity that you've been able to really have such a diverse portfolio when it comes to your investments?
my daughter asked me again, what do you do for a living? Because my friends keep asking.
Okay.
And we can't make sense of it. And I said, I like that. And because I don't want to define myself as one thing. And my career, if you go back to the beginning, it really makes no sense. I've been everything from a young filmmaker to one of the first online car dealers to a software. I made the bulk of my career in building 2 good software companies and exiting to now, how the hell did I end up owning a bar?
Yeah.
And I always joke, say my parents are so proud.
Yeah.
He goes from all these great things, and now he's a bar owner. But whatever, though they laugh. But I don't know, but I do say that yes, that I see it as a creative venture, whatever it is I do. But I've been blessed enough to have great people around me, because you don't do anything alone.
Yeah.
To learn, and I've been pretty good at figuring out what makes sense. Can this make money? Can we keep doing it? And there's levels.
Yep.
Is it? And so I look at 2 different ways of running business. There's businesses that I'm passionate about, that I'm involved in every day.
Yep.
I mean, I answered a Google review this morning, for crying out loud, right? I actually care. On the flip side, I just got back from Austin, and we're heavily invested in humanoid robots. So, and we're raising money for that company. But I'm not running that company.
Yeah.
I have a passion for it, but let them have the day-to-day passion. So 2 different ways of looking at things, I think. What am I emotionally connected to versus I still like making money.
Absolutely.
And that's okay.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. And my brother always laughs because he's like, you're all over the place. Initially, I
Right.
was a fixed income trader.
Right.
And then I've owned some businesses, but I was in wealth management. I'm a classically trained singer. And it's just, none of it makes
that's
sense.
great.
It is.
It's just hard to tell somebody.
It is.
I think that's the thing. It's like, what do you do? And I literally now just go, I don't know.
Yeah.
I own some bars.
Yeah.
And and I get the biggest kick out of that, I think.
Okay, so you moved here,
Right.
12. You decided so you went through the Park City schooling.
Right.
And then you went to SMU.
I ended up at SMU. We had without going too much into it, right before graduation, I was probably supposed to end up in California. And my closest friend, who is a partner in this specific place, as well as Chelsea Corner with me, Chris Camillo, who you've met. Chris and I met in 8th grade, and we had a very tight group of us.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we met at the lunch table. And
Oh, yes.
Yes, it's a great story.
Yes.
We were both shunned for being the outsiders in Highland Park.
Yeah.
And that's a funny story. But anyway, we lost our best friend right before graduation in a car accident. And it dramatically, you look at life and in key moments that can really change the entire course of your life. And Chris was going to UT. I was going over in California. I was to be a famous director. And we both said we need a breather because it happened right before graduation. So you take a very significant life event like that, and it allows you to regroup.
Of course.
Would Chris and I be as close as we are today? I'd like to think so. But we have shared a fascinating journey together and apart, meaning he's lived in LA when I didn't live there. He's done crazy things without me. But we still find each other. We talk every day. And this is an example of what we call second, third careers, maybe fifth careers for me.
Yeah.
Where we get to reconvene and really be great together and do something, not just because we have to, because we really love what we're doing right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
And okay, so talk to me a little bit, if you would, about everything that you are touching at this moment, if you can.
Sure.
Because I know some of your investments, but I'm sure there's many more. You've exited. You even have SpaceX on one of the organizations that you've
Right.
exited from. So is there any way you could give some history as to what that looks like?
I started out building probably one of the first online car dealerships in the country.
That's right.
We didn't have AutoTrader, Cars.com,
That's
wasn't
right.
even, it was eBay. We put cars on eBay and quickly found out they sold. And I said, there's a business here. And so we started buying all the trade-ins from Park Place and the local franchise dealers.
Oh,
And then we had jet hangars at an airport in Addison Airport. And we grew that from 1 jet hangar to 5 jet hangars.
that's pretty capital intensive.
It was. I got lucky. I say got lucky. I had a great investor in the beginning. But as you should, you learn over time. You put money away, and then you can finally buy your investor out.
That's right.
And so that business was fantastic. But we were at the right place, right time, where the technology was shifting. And I quickly realized that we needed systems to manage all of this inventory on all the different websites. So syndication, pricing tools, descriptions, photography management.
Yep.
So we built, or I say, I got my team together, and I didn't know I liked software. Had no idea. Fell in love with designing software.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not a coder. But I know enough to be dangerous am I asking you to do something that's hard. And I really got excited about that opportunity, and so I started building software and realized I got something really good here. And I left my own dealership, and we grew that to 100 and something employees.
That's right.
Sold that company.
Yep.
But that's where another opportunity comes up, right? So at that point, it was really an emotional thing, because when you build something, as you know, that is your heart and soul, and you've got 100 and something employees, and you live and die, and you built a product you love. And I wanted to sell, but I don't think I was ready to sell. So I needed a basic project. And that's where Inwood Tavern came in.
Okay. So it was that long ago.
Yeah, 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years
yeah,
for that
that's
one.
right.
And then we did an apparel software company that I joined a small
saw
group
that.
of awesome people and,
Yep.
and just helped them get to where they're going. And whether it's a SpaceX or now Apptronic, which
Yep.
we're real excited about, which you were there for that.
Yes.
That incredible. Jeff
Presentation.
their CEO is amazing. And that,
Moving back to your original investor that you eventually wound up buying out,
right.
how did that relationship form? Was it vis-a-vis, the network at SMU in conjunction with Park Cities?
So that's the biggest thing I tell anybody if I'm ever getting an entrepreneurial speech is you are your contacts.
Right.
And so if we go back to when my mother said, let's move to Dallas, that was what she was trying to accomplish. How can you be put in front of as many people to improve your chances to do whatever it is you want in life?
Yep.
And relationships are critical. Through the relationships that I had met I did a whole nother thing, a .com business before that. I met some guys that were selling cars, not online.
Yep.
And that's where my technical background, I go, well, what about eBay? And then they tried it and it worked. And I go, huh. And I go, I think I can do this. I think I can do it bigger. They had already had an investor that was funding a dealership.
Okay.
And so he already knew the game.
Got it.
And I think luckily, again, my reputation was okay enough that
Sure.
he was willing to give me, I think I started with $400,000, which is not a lot in the car world, but it was enough. And I'll never forget, I would fly to California to go to an auction. I would load up an entire 18-wheeler. I would bring it back. I wouldn't drive, but I would bring it back to Dallas and single-handedly would have them washed, detailed. I photographed them. I answered every phone call. I put them on eBay. It was a lot.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was a lot, but you got to be willing to commit
Yeah, that's right.
and get involved.
And so, okay, so all of that, you exit that particular company, and then Inwood Tavern comes on. And then after that, was it Chelsea's Corner or was it Milo Butterfingers?
It was Chelsea after that. So everyone told me I was really dumb for opening a bar. Or not opening a bar, buying a bar.
Yeah, it's a
I-
tough industry.
It is, but I see things very differently. And to me, I don't really care what the industry is. Business principles are business principles. You have to buy something, you have to sell something, you have to sell more than you spend, you have to manage your inventory, and it's still people. And marketing, let's be honest, it's a lot of marketing and,
Sure.
and great communication and figuring out who you are as a brand. I needed a project that I could jump into that wasn't a 6-year, 30 engineers,
Sure.
Sales team.
Yeah.
I walked into that bar and I'll never forget, I go, I can fix this. Not that it was broken,
Sure.
but I said, I can fix it. And it was already successful, and it had a unique feature that it was grandfathered in. And I don't know if most people don't know this, but you cannot open a bar or restaurant in Texas today without a kitchen.
I know this. You're the only one.
Right. So we're one of the last left.
Grandfathered in.
Grandfathered in. Parking is also an issue. You can get grandfathered in, things
Yes,
like that. So
yes.
Chelsea Chelsea technically doesn't even own a parking space.
Oh,
So you're grandfathered in for that as well. So that to me made Inwood Tavern very successful because kitchen, I always say alcohol hides the sins of the kitchen because kitchen is very expensive.
Yep.
It's food is very difficult to make
Totally.
money.
Totally.
Selling. So Inwood turned out to be incredible for me. Not only did I become very close with the neighborhood, I'd go on vacation places and be like, well, what do you do? Well, he owns Inwood Tavern. I could be in Florida.
yeah. And everyone knows
somebody's
it.
like, I know that bar.
Yes,
It's amazing.
yes.
It's amazing. And but what was great about it is, at the end of the day, my team won't leave. An amazing team, and they won't leave in a good way. Meaning they're very successful, they're happy. But that little bar, and I won't say the numbers publicly. You could figure it out. It's
Sure.
all public data. But we went from under $1 million a year to well over triple that, and we're probably the highest grossing bar per square foot in the state of Texas.
I would believe that easily.
And so Chelsea, that was the one that I'm glad I did it now. That was the one that almost killed us, though. I worked there at SMU.
Yeah.
I always tell people I watched O.J. Simpson flee in a Bronco as a server that day.
Oh,
and so, but that building meant so much to me. It's a 1926 building.
Yep.
And everything in Dallas is getting torn down,
I know.
just getting ripped apart.
I know.
And especially if you look next to us, all torn down, skyscraper going up. I cared so much, so we knew that it needed love, and it was another bar called Corner Bar. I could see what their liquor numbers were, public data, and I said, "There's no way they're paying their bills." And so I just sat. I tried to meet with them a little bit, but they ended up having to shut the doors for tax payments or something. And we went in and took it, and that's where Chris approached me. I didn't think he would ever want to be in this stuff
Industry.
with me. And he said, Len, he was a bar back. At the time, I was a server, and we both went to SMU. And he goes, Len, if you do this, I have to join you. So he took a minority role in that deal. And thank God he did, because it turned out to be the hardest first few years of our time would have been better used somewhere else. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But now we've built this amazing place with 60 employees, and it's extremely. I mean, I think we're the number 20-something in Dallas for liquor sales, and
Oh my gosh.
it's very successful. In fact, all three of my bars rank in the top 40, inclusive of hotels. So
I understand.
But we're very.
I'm like, Lord.
Yeah, we sell a lot of booze. Sorry,
But it's great.
But Chelsea has been extremely rewarding, and I will say that because Inwood is its own thing, and I think we said this earlier. Whether it's me or Chris or whatever, I don't feel I own them.
Yep.
I'm just a steward.
Yep.
I don't walk around town. You don't see me. I'm Mr. Whatever. I didn't build that bar.
No.
I'm just blessed to be able to carry it on.
Yep.
Ned built Milo Butterfingers. I didn't build Milos. Ned, unfortunately, is no longer with us.
That's right.
I'm here to hopefully carry it on.
Yep.
Chris and I cared so much about Chelsea Corner. All of the real estate in the area was being bought up, and we were going to lose our parking, our valet. I mean, we wouldn't have a single place to park a car, and eventually it would have knocked us out of business. So thank goodness that Chris and I have other things we've done in our lives.
Yeah.
We were able to buy all the property to the south of us, including the condos, and we orchestrated a put property together. We've sold it, but we're part of the deal, and then we're going to get a parking garage. We're adding 4,000 square feet onto Chelsea eventually for another thing we won't discuss too much today. But we're going to build a 13-story building touching Chelsea. Well, that's how and a parking garage. So we saved the building forever.
Yeah.
And it will never be torn down because it's footprint. But Chris and I were offered really stupid money to tear it down. Not just to tear it down, because the air rights go up to 210 feet.
Oh.
Same thing here. Everybody wants to tear this down because it's worth more going up.
I know.
It's not going to happen now.
No.
We came in. I think people in the beginning are like, "What are these guys doing to our favorite bar?" But the truth is, I want a place. I think what I love about these places more than anything, and if I'm sitting down having a drink with somebody, we talk about the marriages that are formed, probably some divorces. But kids are being created because of us.
Yeah.
But really having something in common with, my kids hopefully can come here. And I came here when I went to SMU. And so there's this long history of something can stick. And
Yep.
Dallas doesn't have to tear everything down.
Exactly.
So the one thing I say is our business acumen, for better or for worse, is at least allowing them to stay. And I hope we get to do it. And we may go do more. I thought I would never do another one after Chelsea.
Really?
Yeah, well, just because it was so much.
Of course, yeah.
And this is now, we've got a great team now. I
Yeah.
think that's the other thing. When you grow from 1 to 3, I've got incredible leaders. A lot of the staff stayed, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
And I think we found we're rolling now.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy. And the bars are killing them. I mean, killing it. It's
Yeah.
just, Milo's has never seen numbers like this in a good way. And like people are happy. And that's what matters.
Now you have these 3. And I just like I said, just kind of threading through all of this information. You clearly have built something unlike any bar owner, restaurateur, hospitality individual, in that many people in your industry are somewhat afraid to join certain organizations, let's say the Metropolitan Civic and Business Association, that is really revolving around trying to get our employees to become active participants in the city in which they're living.
Right.
How in God's name is it that you have the fortitude, the courage to do that? I mean, it's unheard of. And I have many friends in your industry
Right.
who are pioneers in it, but they won't do it. They're a little
I
intimidated.
think there's 2 things. I think I would say the average, at least in my industry, the average person in this industry is working 7 days a week
That's right.
and barely figuring out
I get it.
what's up and down.
Yep.
I am blessed that I can remove myself and be an owner and be actively involved, but I'm looking at a bigger picture of who are we as a society.
That's right.
What am I providing to
That's right.
Dallas? Am I just providing a place for people to get drunk and sloshy? I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope I'm holding good events. We do a lot of things for charity.
Yes. Yes,
We
you
have
do.
a massive food truck at Chelsea Corner now. We do events for up to 400 people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lots of neat stuff we're doing. And it's a lot higher end food than people would ever expect. And so for me, I think and I'm getting older. I turned 50 this year,
Oh, okay.
which is a big deal to say out loud.
It is.
And I think
But congrats.
well, thank you. And I don't feel it. I hate saying it, but you start to realize, like, what is my city? What are we leaving? And the
Yep.
only voting and being involved is our power to change.
Yep.
If I don't want buildings to tear down, we need to get involved. And so I don't, and I've always said, I do not wear my political beliefs very publicly.
Me either.
It's
My
irrelevant.
husband does.
Well, I mean,
but I don't.
I mean, I will speak to anybody, but
Sure.
I sure don't make my bar,
No.
Chelsea. We are not political.
No,
And those restaurants and places should be a place of safety and love
that's right.
and community.
That's right.
And community is all sides, right? And you should be able to have a voice. And so I want my staff to feel the same way. And I want them to be involved and get involved.
So what are the conversations that you have with them to not further any type of divisiveness, which I think is just so sickening to me? I wish that so many of us could have that ability to create community, yet still encourage that active involvement and passion to help the city thrive
Right.
in a positive capacity.
Right. The conversation is, again, not political.
Yeah, it's
The
not.
The conversation is, do you care about more
Yeah.
than yourself?
Yeah.
And do you care about what your future looks like, for whether it's your family, your friends, yourself? And you need to know what's going on in your city. And I think we have a very big disconnect between what the media, comes and barks
Totally.
and yells,
Totally.
versus what is going on in your actual community that
That's right.
affects you personally.
Yep.
And I think getting involved in that is I think it's just if you don't care about that, what do you care about?
That's right. What words do you have to other industry leaders, particularly those in your industry, to encourage them to have because I assume that it's you having these conversations with a lot of the people that work for you.
Sure.
What can you tell them?
I don't know that I hold myself as a person that needs to change my industry.
No,
Right?
no.
And I don't think you're saying that, but it's
No.
and I don't even consider myself in an industry, and that's kind of funny to say.
Sure.
Because I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
I look at, I'm a microcosm of whatever it is in this industry of what I do, and I try to do it the best way possible.
yeah,
I measure my success by how long have my employees been with us.
Yeah.
In fact, we had for the first time ever, we had an all three managers meeting.
Oh.
And where we could learn from each other.
Uh-huh.
And that was because, I bought Inwood on its own, and then Chris and I do Chelsea, and
Yes.
now Chris and I equally own this place.
Milo's, yeah.
And I go, well, we have too much to learn between all of us. And then we started doing the math, and I was like, they've been with us 11 years or 14. This person's been 7 years and 5 years, and the room was just unbelievable how long. And then you finally sit back and you go, well, that's success to me, is that
Yeah.
we're nurturing people.
That's right.
And then I also tell people that if you leave me, I want you to do it because it's something you want to go.
course.
I've at least done something in your life. You didn't leave because I did something
Correct.
wrong.
Yes.
Or the job, but maybe there's an opportunity that I simply can't give you.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. But as far as the industry goes, yeah, I mean, I talk to them as much as we can, and
Yeah.
we do need to get involved
Yeah.
because we are a part of the city. I mean, food.
Yes.
What else do we do in Dallas?
I know.
Eat and drink, right? I don't know the last time my buddy said, let's go run a mile. No, that doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah.
They go meet me for a cocktail.
Yeah.
And we'll go out and
That's
talk.
right.
Yeah.
Again, is there anything else that you would like to leave our viewers and listeners with? Any types of nuggets? I mean, I know so you know Trey Lentz.
Yeah.
So his wife, myself, my friend Lucelli, we're going to do kind of a dinner at Chelsea's Corner that we're going to kind of showcase after this. So, and then we'll probably go have a cocktail at Inwood Tavern.
Yeah.
But so we're going to show all of your establishments
Right,
and
thank
just
you.
the uniqueness of each
And
location.
they're very different.
They're so different.
They're very
They're
different.
so different.
I think, it was interesting, and not a nugget. Chelsea's an anomaly. Inwood's Inwood. I mean,
Yeah.
in fact, that's where Scotty Scheffler went when I wasn't there that night. It was a Sunday
You were,
night. I should not.
but tell us, tell everyone.
Well,
Yeah,
at 12:30 in the morning, I probably shouldn't be at my bar on a Sunday night. But he walked in, hadn't even showered, and that's the kind of place that it was built to be.
yeah,
You can have a Jerry Jones sitting next to an auto mechanic.
That's right.
And that's exactly the kind of place. And I think Milo's is that. Milo's, you can be any walk of life and come in here and
That's
feel
right.
comfortable. Chelsea is a chameleon.
Yeah.
We have some of the best brunches in Dallas on Saturday
right.
and Sunday. People think, well, it's a bar. I go, I don't know why you call it a bar. Is it just because it has a bar in it? I go, well, do you call Houston's a bar?
Yeah.
Do you call Hudson House a bar? They have very large bars.
Yeah.
And somebody actually wrote recently, it was last night, it kind of upset me. They go, well, it's good for bar food. I go, well, is braised short rib bar food? Is our salmons? These are our redfish.
Yeah.
These aren't bar food items. So again, we're a little something for everybody.
Yeah.
I can't be in there at 10 o'clock on a Friday because I aged out. It gets
No, I
younger.
get that. Yeah.
But during the day, it's us. It's family every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a little bit of everything. And again, being a part of the community.
Yeah.
So whatever nugget I could say is choose your passions, follow your heart,
Yep.
and get involved and do something that makes other people's lives a little better.
I love
think-
it.
I think that's a good way to live.
It is a good way to live, and I just wish there were more of you. And
There are.
There are,
are.
but it's pretty rare. And if there's anything that I hope people listening or watching learn from this and your wisdom is that I don't want to say anything else after it because it's such poignant and
Thank you.
wonderful advice. Thank you for being here.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Or thank you for having me here because we're not at my place. We're at Milo's.
Yes,
So
and
thank
Milo's
you.
has pizza now too.
Really?
We have a new pizza, so you'll have to try soon.
Well, I will. I'm actually going to sit here. I have my stuff to work,
Yeah.
and so I'm going to be sitting here eating, and I hope they'll join me. I don't know. I don't know what
Sounds
they're
good.
doing, but
Yeah,
thank
today's
you.
chicken fried steak day, so maybe they'll like that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you for having
care.
me.
Len has truly put his heart and soul into Milo Butterfingers, and I love seeing his passion come to life. But now I'm excited to check out what he's done with Chelsea's Corner. It used to be Corner Bar, and I've invited a couple of my good friends to join me. And after hearing Len rave about the food, you know I just have to try it for myself. Let's order some food and let's get the good times going. So I am here with Luceli and Priscilla, and we are just gonna have some yummy cocktails. I have, well, what are you having to drink, Priscilla?
An Aperol Spritz.
Aperol Spritz. What about you, Luceli?
I'm having this like blackberry crush cocktail.
Is it good?
It's so good.
It's so good. So here's the cool part. Priscilla's husband, Trey, went to SMU, right? Went
Yes.
to SMU with one of the owners, and Trey throws this huge
Tailgate.
party,
Yeah.
tailgate, every year at SMU, still to today, and people will sponsor it, so they love Chelsea's Corner, right?
Yeah.
So tell us like all the fun things that you've done with and at Chelsea's,
Well, I
or
mean,
any of the institutions.
yeah,
for that matter.
I've come to Chelsea's Corner for over the years, and Chris, one of the owners, and him kind of started talking, and they know each other from way back in the day. So Trey was looking for sponsors and whatnot, and so Chris super generously offered, and it was a huge hit. I think you guys were there one
I
of the times
love
they had
that.
like those sliders.
Oh, it was so good.
It was so good. Everybody was lined up getting food and drinks. They had a bartender there as well from here. And so it was a huge hit. People were kind of asking when they were going to sponsor again.
Why don't you tell everyone about yourselves? So, oh my God, your jacket,
Yes.
and then
Sally, go.
clearly
please.
everything.
My gosh.
Please, I know she wasn't planning on doing this. I'm putting her on the spot, but I think it's important. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and I want one.
Yes, so I'm starting to do like an arts and crafts, and I just love blazers.
Yeah.
And I probably own like 100 blazers.
Yeah.
All different colors, all different sizes, different textures, and I was like, okay, I can't wear all of these, and if I wear a couple and then I don't want to get rid of them, but I'm like, what can I do to make it like fun and
Yes.
creative
Yes.
and one of a kind? So
Yeah.
I love arts and crafts, and I started saving these little champagne caps, and I was like, what can I do with them? So I decided to
Well, and you're huge into fashion.
Well,
Like
exactly.
You just
Didn't
love,
you go to school for it?
I did a couple years actually,
Right?
yes.
And so
yes.
it's
and
like-
so I'm like, oh my God, it's time. I think it's like time to really like
Do
put
it.
all my energy and
Do it.
fully like
I
get
will
myself
absolutely
involved.
support. She is a dentist. Okay, but she's a dentist for adults.
Yes.
And where do you work, Priscilla?
Well, so my field is prosthodontics, which is like the prosthetic part of dentistry. Or better known as the veneer doctors.
Yeah.
As people love their veneers here in Dallas.
But are yours veneers or no?
No, mine are. Well, my
Your
teeth are real.
are
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Just
beautiful.
braces. Just some good braces.
Yes, yes,
Well, likewise,
yes.
you both have great teeth.
Thank you.
But yeah, I do prosthodontics here in Preston Center.
Hey guys, just wanted to drop in.
This is what we're starting with.
Bring
Yes.
our chicken, buffalo chicken bites.
Yes.
And we have 4 more things coming. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Oh my God, they're soft.
Wow.
They're soft. They're not all like dried out.
No,
What?
their
Oops.
food is amazing. Their
Pretend
kitchen
that
is
didn't
really
happen.
good. Isn't that good? I'm just obsessed with buffalo.
Oh my God, but they're exceptionally good.
Wow.
They're so good.
I know. I love them. I can't ever not order them.
Oh my.
And that's the thing about it. Like their presentation is so, it's like upscale but chill. I
It
feel like
is.
that's like their vibe.
Yep.
And I love it.
They're delicious. I think I'm gonna order another round. The buffalo bites were not burnt or crispy. They were perfectly seasoned, perfectly balanced. I know some people hate the word moist, but they weren't dry. They weren't dry. They were delicious.
They're tender.
Yes, so
Yeah.
tender.
So- yeah.
They just
No, yeah. I think like the sauce, the buffalo sauce, like it was not super spicy, but it was like a perfect balance with the ranch. I mean, it was delicious. Delicious, yeah, for sure.
Definitely hits the spot.
Just wanted to stop by and bring some more good food.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, these
So-
are going to be really hard to match up.
Yeah.
Trust me, we can
These-
deliver.
These are
Oh,
incredible.
So this is gonna be our risotto balls, our pimento risotto
yum.
balls. These are ahi tuna tostadas.
Ooh, okay.
Our firecracker
Ooh.
shrimp.
Oh,
I've never had that actually.
I have a spinach artichoke dip,
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, are you
Wow.
joking?
and then one of Chef's favorites,
One of the chef's favorites. Okay.
jalapeno, our short rib stuffed jalapeno. So
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
so a little feast for you guys.
A
Yeah.
total feast.
May I
Thank
get this
you.
out of the way?
Oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much.
That's
This looks
delicious.
incredible.
So good.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you, Armando.
See, this is exactly what I love about Chelsea's Corner. Like, it's kind of like whatever vibe you want it to
Yes, yes.
be. You know, because this literally is like a gourmet meal,
It is.
but
In
we're in
little
a really
bites.
comfy
Yes.
booth. Yeah, like
Well, that's what that each of his establishments, or their establishments, I should say,
yeah,
they have that approachability.
Yes.
Right? That
And they make you feel
it's comfortable.
yeah. Like they're not trying hard to be something that they're not. They're exactly that, and each one is kind of like a different side
Totally.
to Dallas.
Totally.
You know,
That's to die for.
so good. I mean, I don't even know what to make my next bite because everything is so delicious.
Oh my gosh, the artichoke dip.
I know. I'm like, I
And
want some of that.
they have a truck where
food
they
truck?
go. Yeah,
Really?
Food truck.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. That's right.
I didn't
yeah.
know that.
I mean, I thought it was just
until
like
we did this, which now that I've like tasted all this, are you kidding me? Which
is
are
so
your
good.
favorite?
Oh my god.
If you had to pick.
Oh, that's hard. I think if I wanted to go for something healthy, I would
Ahi.
choose this one.
I mean, those are good. They're like little perfect bites. I love this shrimp.
Me too.
though.
Me too.
This shrimp is phenomenal. I'm all about like those sauces with a kick.
me
That's
too.
my thing.
It's like a little sweet and
This
spicy.
spinach artichoke dip is really good though.
It is.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it
Okay,
yet.
let's
I guess I can't say until I try that.
pass that.
If I were to come back, I'd probably get the buffalo bites.
Yes.
Aren't they good?
They're so good.
I think those shrimp. No, between those and the buffalo things.
The buffalo things are
I
the
know.
bites. They're so good.
Buffalo bites, shrimp. I would do that, and ahi, the next time I came.
Yes.
But
Well,
I
there's
would-
so much more on their menu.
Well, I know.
I mean,
This is just some of the.
all part of their awesome appetizers, but they have so much more stuff on their menu.
Oh my gosh. Well, of course.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to come again. Do
Yeah.
round 2.
Yeah.